Isla and her white friend are being sussy near an abandoned building. When cops show up, the white man tells the black girl to run. When there's nowhere else to run, she enters an abandoned building, but the officers soon find her hiding there. They ask her to surrender, but Ayla refuses to. She even spooks them by saying out loud what the two officers are thinking. Then suddenly, a drum hits one of the officers, followed by multiple gunshots. Ayla is a psionic. Psionics are people with psychic abilities, including teleportation, telepathy, astral projection, and telekinesis. Oh, so this is the Black Heroes version I've been waiting for. 15 years later, Ayla is already living a peaceful life with her teenage daughter, Aurora. Like her, Aurora is a psionic. Aurora spends her day reading and watching TV if she's not practicing her powers. There's nothing else to do, and she doesn't even go to school. The way I'd bed rot and watch TikToks all day if this were me. Ayla thinks her daughter is too weak and that she's not practicing enough. She keeps reminding her that she needs to guard her mind and control her powers, or she'll end up hurting people. Ayla also constantly reminds Aurora what to do in case someone takes her away. Grumpily, Aurora proves that she knows she has to keep things to herself and use an anchor memory if her abductors try to get inside her head. And if she finds the chance, she's to meet her mother at a particular bus stop. Aurora watches a Disney-style show where a girl threatens a black dude saying he finna be black-eyed peas when she's done. Totally unhinged. Her mom interrupts saying she need to buy groceries, so she leaves Aurora alone in the house. As soon as her mother leaves, Aurora goes out and meets with her only friend, Isaiah. The two clearly like each other a lot, and Isaiah even asks Aurora to spend time with him and his friends the next day. She wants to, but she can't say yes right away. When Aurora sees her mother's car returning, she runs home as fast as she can because she forgot to thaw the chicken. However, her mother reads her mind and asks for the boy's name. Aurora gets angry and tells her mother not to get inside her head again, so Ayla tells her off, saying that she's too weak, which is why it's easy to read her mind. Ayla confronts her mother. If only they stop moving around, then she can have friends and have a stable life. To help her get stronger, Ayla teaches Aurora how to fight back. She gets so angry about how weak her daughter is that she attacks her to prove her point. Ayla says she's only trying to protect Aurora from them. Aurora claps back saying there is no they, them, or he, she. Afterwards, she feels guilty when Aurora says she's hurting. Oh, hell nah, fam. That's still child abuse. Later that night, Ayla makes up with her daughter by giving her a gift. When Ayla's finally asleep, Aurora sneaks out through the window. She shows up at the meeting place and meets Isaiah's friends for the first time. She admits that she's homeschooled, so she doesn't go out a lot. Sensing that she's a bit uncomfortable with the other teenagers asking if she's homeless, Isaiah pulls her to the side. That bald-headed one looks homeless. Aurora tries to read Isaiah's mind and hears that he likes her a lot. She's happy about it until she unintentionally hears what the other teenagers think about her. They think she's weird and that Isaiah is such a simp. Because of this, Aurora starts to panic. The others even try to make jokes about it, not knowing how it's affecting her. With Aurora panicking, Isaiah tries to calm her down. He holds both her hands and looks at her. Suddenly, Aurora can't control her power, and she blows up a vein in Isaiah's neck, killing him. As he drops dead, all his friends run to help him. They ask Aurora what happened, and all she can say is that she needs help. Damn, that went from 0 to 100 real quick. She's overwhelmed by emotions that she unintentionally teleports away from the group. Ayla realizes something happened to Aurora, and that's when she discovers she's not in her room. So Ayla quickly packs her bag and leaves the house. When Aurora wakes up, she finds herself locked in an unfamiliar place. Then a guy named Dererick walks in and convinces Aurora that she's in a safe place. He speaks to her mentally, and Aurora finds out that he's psionic too. Dererick explains that he found Aurora when she used her powers and brought her to the facility for other psionics like her. Dererick assures her that what happened to Isaiah is taken care of. Then he starts asking about Aurora's family, but the girl says she ran away and now lives alone. So Dererick stops asking and lets her rest. At least she's smart enough to not trust that PDF file-looking man. Later that day, Dererick keeps asking Aurora about her powers. He wants to know which are the ones she can command best and if they have the same abilities. Aurora admits that she's not even good at moving objects and that she's incapable of teleporting and doing astral projection. Dererick takes her out, knowing that she's preventing him from reading her mind. So he figures out that Aurora must be lying to protect someone. So in a snap of a finger, he gets inside a memory of hers. It's a memory of Aurora watching her favorite sitcom and trying to read a book at the same time. They're both accessing that memory, and Dererick keeps analyzing it. Aurora insists she's always been alone, but Dererick realizes that the book she's reading stays on just one page and that the lines in the sitcom repeat over and over again. He knows that Aurora is manipulating the memory so it won't show the moment someone walks into that room with her. Aurora fights back the best she can. However, Dererick is much stronger, and he spots a photo of Aurora and her mother. With just a little more effort, Derek gets Aurora to reveal her mother's face, and when Derek sees Ayla, he's so shocked, and he finally exits Aurora's memory. He says he was friends with Aurora's mother. Then he takes out some documents showing photos of some dead people, saying that Ayla killed 2 policemen and a friend. He warns Aurora not to protect her mother anymore because she's a dangerous person. Aurora refuses to believe that her mother could do something like that. Still, Derek asks her help in finding Ayla. Aurora refuses to help, so Derek gets pissed and prevents her from leaving the facility, not until they find Ayla. Meanwhile, Ayla keeps remembering what happened that tragic night. The 2 officers lost control of their bodies and ended up shooting themselves. Damn, double homicide. Well, suicide. When her friend walks in, a vein in his neck pops off, killing him. Feeling trapped, Aurora gets so angry that she starts to destroy the television in her room. She picks up a broken part of the screen, and when the staff visit her a little later, she uses it to prevent the door from closing fully. That night, Aurora gets out of her room in search of a way out. She can't help but hear the other psionics speaking to her mentally. She searches for the owners of the voices and finds some people locked in rooms, alive but looking dead inside. They are trapped in their own heads. Unfortunately for her, the alarm starts ringing, alerting the guards of her escape. Aurora keeps running and ends up finding more trapped psionics inside. Soon enough, she's found and carried back to her room. Ayla's not aware of what's happening to her kid, and she just patiently waits for her at their meetup place. This time, Derek doesn't try to be so nice anymore. He explains that psionics are dangerous people, so he has spent years tracking them down and bringing them to the facility. He works for the authorities, making sure to lock up the psionics who are causing trouble outside, but then he eventually starts putting any psionic inside even though they didn't do anything wrong. The man's crash out is crazy, just screaming at her. Derek gets inside Aurora's head again, looking for Ayla, but Aurora follows her mother's advice and uses an anchor memory to protect herself from anyone trying to access her memories. Derek finally gives up playing nice and gets the staff to drag Aurora to a different room where she's strapped to a chair. Aurora begs Derek to stop, but to no avail. He gets inside her head once more and tortures her with Isaiah's death. In her head, Isaiah keeps dying over and over again. She's not strong enough to keep Derek out. Derek even uses Ayla's face to mock and call Aurora weak. She knows her mother is not that cruel, but the torture is just too much for her to bear. Aurora finally gives in and reveals the location where she's expected to meet her mother if things go wrong. So right away, Derek teleports to where Ayla is, and he finds her waiting for him. He refuses to tell Ayla where her daughter is, determined to drag her to the facility and lock her up for good. Then suddenly, Ayla barges into the facility and attacks the staff. She looks for Aurora and eventually finds her in a room where Derek left her. Aurora is not sure if it's really her mother or just another illusion. As Ayla speaks, the woman with Derek says the same thing. And with that, he finally realizes that the Ayla he's with is just an illusion, and the bag has a bomb inside. By the time it explodes, Ayla is already guiding her daughter out of the facility. Unfortunately for them, Derek has escaped the explosion, and he's back in the building. Ayla orders Aurora to guard her mind so Derek can't enter it again. Trapped in a room, the mother and daughter hide themselves as they try to make it past Derek. But he catches them, and he grabs Ayla by the neck to stop her from escaping. Aurora doubts if she can save her mother, but she doesn't have any choice but to try. Gathering all her strength, she grabs her mother and teleports them to a place far from the facility. Even Ayla is surprised that Aurora has successfully teleported. Later, she admits that she knew Aurora would eventually give in to Derek's mental torture, so she used Aurora's weakness instead to fool Derek. Aurora is unsure if she can trust her mother after what Derek told her, so Ayla finally lets her in inside her head. Aurora sees what happened that one tragic night. Ayla was escaping the facility with her friend, and she even left a bomb on the building walls. Then the authorities came and started chasing her. Derek found her first, and he was the one who shot and killed the police officers before killing their other friend. He did this to prove a point to Ayla and to have a reason to finally catch her, weaving lies that she's a dangerous psionic. Ayla adds that she was pregnant that time and didn't want Aurora to be born into that environment. After learning the truth, Aurora realizes her mother was only protecting her. Ayla plans to move to Oregon and start a new life. She knows they have to keep hiding from Derek because he will never stop. "Don't go to Oregon, girl. There's barely any black people there." Then Aurora says she's done running. Suddenly, she uses her powers, surprising her mother. Ayla scolds her for doing so, knowing that Derek will detect it. But that's exactly what Aurora wants, for Derek to find them. As expected, he shows up. Aurora pleads for their lives, asking him to let them go. But Derek finds the request ridiculous. Instead, he asks Aurora to join him, offering to teach her and hand her the facility someday. But Aurora doesn't want to. She just wants to be free. Knowing that Derek will never budge, Aurora throws herself at him and teleports them in the middle of the road, leaving Derek to be run over. And with that, it's finally over. She tells her mother she's not moving to Oregon. With Dererick gone, the doors in the facility open, freeing the psionics, both the good and the bad. This literally was like an episode on X-Men. What did you guys think of this one?
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.